as some of you know, I'm an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and I'm also now studying psychology degree with counselling at a university. And one thing that I want to start doing more is also sharing some of the things I'm learning as I'm learning. And I want to put it in a way that's actually easy to understand. So not pop psychology, but still psychology explained in easier terms. So today I actually want to have a brief talk about 3 psychology fathers, Freud, Jung and Adler, because their names get mentioned a lot all the time in many circles, whether that's self-improvement or psychology, but a lot of times people don't really know what the difference is between the 3. And actually it is much simpler than that it probably sounds. So I'm going to give a quick overview. So Freud actually focused on unconscious conflict. Jung focused on deeper meaning behind thoughts and dreams and behaviour. And then Adler, he actually focused on feelings of inferiority, he focused on belonging and the way people try to feel significant. So, what will they do to achieve that feeling? And that's really the simplest way that I found to help myself to remember them. So, starting with Freud, he basically said that a lot of what drives us is the unconscious. So people are not always aware of why they feel the way they feel, or why they keep repeating certain patterns. And so his analogy is obviously what we know as the tip of the iceberg. So he believed a lot of our struggles come from unresolved inner conflict, often rooted deep in childhood years. So to him, if someone keeps sabotaging relationships, Freud would ask what is happening underneath that. So he would ask what fear, conflict is buried, what is the pain that's driving it. So Jung also cared about unconscious, but he saw it differently, and this is where they diverted the paths between Freud and Jung. He was less focused on the repression and more focused on things like symbols and dreams. So dream world, archetypes is very, very big on archetypes and the part of ourselves that we ignore or try to push away. So where Freud might ask, what hidden conflict is this? Jung would ask, well, what is this trying to tell you? That's why Jung is still very popular in conversations today around especially things like shadow work and also identity. And is also very popular when it comes to dream interpretation and personal growth. There's certainly a lot of interesting facts about all of these psychology fathers. Now, then there's Adler, who I personally think deserves a lot more attention than he has done. He's probably slightly less known because he focused on why people feel small, not good enough, or disconnected. And he actually believed a lot of behavior is shaped by feelings of inferiority and the compensation and the need to belong. So perhaps you've heard of things like overcompensating. So if somebody is perfectionistic, they maybe they have OCD and, control the environment, or they're obsessed with achievements, then Adler would ask, well, is this actually confidence or is it a compensation for an insecurity? So I find that makes him really interesting to learn about. So in simple terms, the way I put it is, Freud asks, what unconscious conflict is underneath this? So we've got the tip of the iceberg. What's the underneath? Then you got Jung, who's asking what deeper meaning is underneath this. So it's very much about archetypes, dream world, identity. And then we've got Adler, who's actually saying, well, what insecurity, goal, or need to belong is underneath this? Like, what are you trying to overcompensate? So that's Adler. Now, obviously, in modern psychology, there are many psychologists, a lot of research done, and obviously people no longer just follow, just like they used to do, only Freud, Jung, or Adler, like they used to do in the olden days. But even now, most mental health systems, they do focus more on evidence-based therapies like CBT, we've got DBT, we've got counselling, trauma therapies, and other structured approaches in psychology. And these, like, there's a lot of things that Freud, Jung, and Adler shaped with their ideas for what came later on that is still being utilised. So, for example, Freud's influence lives in the psychodynamic therapy. We've got Jung, who influences more in-depth work, such as dream work, identity work. And then Adler, very much still, his influence is still very much alive in things like counselling and family therapy. So because I'm studying psychology with counselling, obviously those approaches are quite meaningful still, on self-worth and belonging. So obviously modern psychology is not just either Freud or Jung or Adler. There's many others as well, but obviously those three absolutely help to shape what we now discuss in our conversations about psychology. And I think this stuff is so fascinating, but that's why I want to share it more, because at the heart of it all, there's still the same question: why do people become who they become? So this is very interesting, as in looking at why people repeat patterns, why do they suffer, what's the cause behind it, and also why a lot of times people act against their own best interests. And that's why it still matters, because psychology is not just about symptoms, it's also about understanding people, and it is about learning more about the brain, behaviour, conditioning. And I think it is important that people become more aware of things. It can also help in things like therapy, self-improvement, and things like that. So yes, I will be sharing more as I'm learning myself. I'll be posting more content to do with psychology as well. And if you enjoy that, or you have any specific questions, pop them in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to look into it. And yes, you can join me on my journey as a psychology student whilst I'm working through my degree. And thank you for watching, and I will speak to you later. Bye.